silent! Be still!
Always true with the.
That's why mine are always black.
Hereafter, so that we remember our bonds, we shall always come together in a circle.
It's not so much chill. We hit so many different topics and jump all over.
To hear and tell of deeds good and brave.
You went full cookie puss.
Hi, I'm just look.
I will build a round table where this fellowship shall meet.
So that's why it's the round table. We're all equals here.
Well, at least I'm not pulling a rickshaw.
Remember it well then, this night, so that in the years ahead, you can say, I was there that night.
There's a lot of shots being fired.
And it sounded like somebody was sucking down their microphone like a slack jaw bundle of sticks.
Whoa, there's no gay frogs here.
Good and evil, there never is one without the other. Where hides evil then in my kingdom? Always where you never expect it.
When it passes through Antifa ranks, it smells like cat piss and kitty litter.
Yeah.
And patchouli.
I know a few YouTubers who smell like that.
And look upon this moment. Savory. Rejoice with great gladness.
And welcome to the round table.
For it is the doom of men that they forget.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday Roundtable. Tonight, we do have a discussion about, basically tracing and plagiarism, reasons why books are so crappy, why the indie market is also collapsing in a big way. We'll be hitting a few of those things for sure, because I'm kind of sick of it. You know, when you have multimillionaires who jump into this stuff and they dictate everything for everyone. And the gaslighting that they put out there, it's nonsense. It's bullshit. So, I want to break it down as an artist who's actually produced quality books left, right, and center. Because I think I could be very vocal about this. You know, I was ahead of an art company and whatnot, lead designer McFarlane Toys. So I think I know how it is and how these industries work. And I can give you some good insight on it. You know, I might not be Neil Adams, who started tracing in his later years just to put out crap for conventions and stuff like that. But don't worry, we'll break it all down. We'll break it down because to me, I think it's cheap, and it lowers the quality of everything, makes you look like a hack, and gives more excuses for why the indie market is falling to shit. And Marvel and DC, because they don't forget, they do hire artists who do that. The one guy, Greg Land, he made a career out of it, and you could tell his work is it's horrible. It's disgusting, and he gets called out all the time for his cheap plagiarism. So we're going to be getting into some of that stuff because I think I'm a fan as well of comics and stuff, and I hate seeing this type of shit. I hate seeing basically the industry that I've loved and I've grown up in. Fall to the wayside, because you got horrible stuff like that's being pumped out and produced, and now people have all these programs and stuff that help them cheat even further. Listen, I get it when there's deadlines and depending on what you're doing, who you're working for, and you need an edge. All right, I'll give that to certain people. But when it comes down to it, if you don't know the basics, you shouldn't be working in this field. If you don't know anatomy, perspective, composition, storytelling, then that means you're in it for a quick cash grab. You think you could scam people with tracing over artwork and putting out subpar, sub-quality stuff, And again, it all comes down to celebrity as well, right? How famous you are in how much work you've done for the mainstream, the big two. Because that's when it comes down to with a lot of this stuff. And I hate to say it too, a lot of the fans, they're almost like brainwashed by the stardom thing. Oh, just because you work for a brand name company, that makes you better than someone else. It doesn't. Because a lot of those things.
Celebrity does. That's kind of how they think.
Yeah, a lot of those things are, it's click stuff. It's who you know. more than what you could actually do and what you could produce. I've seen it across the board. All these deals are made at after parties. People get hired at after parties, not so much from just, oh, here, look at my work or whatever. It's not so much that, but we'll break some of that down tonight. First, let me introduce my panel here. We got some good people. We got Brutal Morningwood in the house. How you doing, bro?
I'm hanging in there. Thanks for including me. It gives me a chance to hail this channel and hail this panel and hail this chat.
Yeah, man. Well, dude, it's great having you. We also got Lurch in the house. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, doing pretty good. How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we're hanging in there. You know, I mean, the world's falling to shit. The economy's falling to shit. But, you know, we're all fighting. We're all fighting.
Right? We're still alive. We're still here.
So far.
Yeah, at least for now, till the atomic
Right.
flash.
We'll see what February brings. January brought, you know, the gay sex in the Senate hearing room and more madness and almost the start of World War III. We'll see what February brings, right?
It's gonna
Holy hell. We got the legend Chris Fisk in the house. How you doing, buddy?
We are 11:59 to 1 minute to midnight with the doomsday clock.
It keeps it ticking. Oh man, hope you're having a good evening and a solid weekend at least.
Oh yeah. Now that it's over, damn it.
Yeah. Shit. Well, and we also have Tolbat in the house with
What the hell?
Baby Heretic. How you doing, buddy?
Well, you know, misery loves company, so I decided to join the channel tonight to add to or just listen to everyone else's pain because I feed off of it.
Yeah, well, spoken like Oprah Winfrey.
Send me your money now. We have to help the baby.
Oh shit! Let me just say a quick hello out there for everyone who's watching. We got Toy Mafia in the house. What's up? Yeah, messed up internet. Yeah, all the snow and stuff. Yeah, people, be safe out there. Yeah, I know all the snowstorms and shit hitting all over the place. You know, we got to do what we could. Lurch was saying hi to everybody. Tommy Guinea Pig Collective, he was marching through, saying hi as well.
Yeah, Tommy's busy right now.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it's a lot of stuff everyone's kind of juggling, but yeah, and we are on, like I said, about an hour earlier. I think I might be moving my streams to 8 p.m. instead of 9.
Cool.
Because the other ones are, it's getting a little too late, and yeah, usually we hang out and get some work done and stuff too afterwards. But yeah, I think I want to bump it up a little bit because way too many late nights. Slasher's in the house as well. What's up, buddy? There's also I dropped you a link earlier, so if you do want to pop in, we also got Trina in the house. What's up? I hope you're having a good evening. Tolbat was saying hi. We got Monotony who's saying hello as well. Good seeing you, brother. Brutal was saying hello as well. We had Captain Outis over on the Rumble portion. I could actually finally see the comments on Rumble now because I hooked it up, I synced it up, whatever the beta thing is. So it's a lot easier to actually to get that all linked up in the work. Lion Ratton in the house. What's up, man? Vinny, yeah, he wants me to vent more. Yeah, I will. We'll get into it because Friday during my sign out, I was getting into what was that?
Sorry, I was just reading his comment. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Toy Mafia saying hi to everybody. Adego, what's up, Doc? Always good seeing you. Let's see if I missed anybody else. But man, I'm fed up with everything. It's too much bullshit. Hold on, let me put up the actual title card for those who are just strolling in. They want to know what we're kind of talking about. We'll get into that. There was a little bit of Frankenstein news as well with what's his name, Guillermo del Toro, with the film that he's doing. Apparently he cast somebody from this movie called Saltburn. I'm not familiar with it, but the actor is 6'5", and he's the one who's playing the monster. Let me see if I can find this guy's name again or who he is. But it's interesting that, again, I know that's Guillermo del Toro's his big thing that he wanted to do for a while, is get the Frankenstein movie kind of off the ground. So
apparently Saltburn is a movie that came out last year. unless
Okay.
that's a remake. But I don't know, I just typed it into Google real fast because I have never seen that either.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar at all when I heard of what it was. I think the guy did some other TV series as well. I know a friend of mine sent me this link. Where's the guy's name? Jacob Eldery or something along those lines. Yeah, I don't know. He looks like some kind of skinny pretty boy guy, but again, with all the prosthetics and stuff that'll be put onto Frankenstein, because with Guillermo del Toro, I know he really gets into it when he makes these things, and like every aspect of a film, he hand draws everything. If it's going to be, I don't know, a lamp in the background, he's got a sketchbook and he fills it to the brim of everything that he wants that's going to be in a shot, you name it. So that's the one thing I give this guy big props on is he knows what his vision is and what he wants to do. He was the one who started the Hobbit movie before it went back to what's his name?
Peter Jackson. Yeah.
To Peter
He's
Jackson.
the one who did the beginning part.
Yeah, because everything that he started getting together, he basically just gave all of his reference and everything over to Peter Jackson. He's like, yeah, it's like because it was gonna take him way longer to make that movie, and don't know how many would have been if it was Guillermo del Toro, but
well, he was gonna try to put it all in one movie or make it two, and then it wasn't even necessarily Peter Jackson's idea to draw that out. It was more of an executive decision. Like the studio wanted another trilogy.
Yeah, and that was a very bad idea.
It's only one book. I mean, he did it. It's not like the Lord of the Rings. It's not meant to be this massive story. It was a quick story that sets up the big story.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like it's a kind of it doesn't even need to set up the story. Like it should have been a self-contained thing, and instead they're like, see more Lord of the Rings, kids, buy it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate The Hobbit when they came out. A lot of people did. I could see that it was completely drawn out, and there were parts I didn't like.
I absolutely despised it, mainly because I loved the Lord of the Rings trilogy so much. And when I saw what they did with this, the pacing was so bad. Like, you remember how the Unexpected Journey ends, where they're like, Smaug appears, and you're like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden, like the next one, it was like, no, an Unexpected Journey was the one with the eagles or whatever. But like the one where they wake up Smaug and they're like, oh shit. And then also it's like, see you in 2 years, kids.
Yeah. And that was basically, the whole thing is they just kept putting stupid cliffhangers and drawing out what is, when you read it, a short story.
Yeah.
I mean, The Hobbit is nothing like reading The Lord of the Rings. It's not even the same age group of reading. So like the words are easier. It's really not. It was meant to be something where you'd read that, and then when you got older, you could read The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because he wrote The Hobbit originally for his kids, and then people read it, and they liked it, and so then he's like, well, I'll try my hand at writing a massive novel, and then we got The Lord of the Rings, which I've always felt was a more darker story than The Hobbit, and that's because it was meant to be. It was meant to be for those people who had read The Hobbit but had gotten older. Because The Hobbit is more of a, I don't know, it's a fun tale, but you know what I mean? It's not nearly as dark. Like, he doesn't lose his finger and, almost die trying to freaking take the ring to Mount Doom. It's a fairly simple, relatively fun story by comparison. Not that The Lord of the Rings isn't fun, but it has some dark moments.
Yeah. What's up, Draven? Good seeing you, buddy. We got Godzillionaire in the house as well. Benedict Cumberbatch Smog.
Smog.
Cumber Smog. Shit.
I also wasn't a fan that the Black Arrow became the Black Ballistite Bolt.
Yeah.
It takes some massive ballistite to launch. It's like, I mean, my God, why not just go all the way and go to a trebuchet and just do, barrage fires of that? Because it was really just a Black Arrow that was forged, but it fired from a regular bow in the book.
Yeah, that was Bard's whole thing, is that he was a master archer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're all masturbators.
Pretty much.
But this is the guy apparently that they hired for Frankenstein's monster. Again, he's 6'5". I could see a little bit of the Boris look in his face, but I don't know if that's the direction Guillermo del Toro is going in. I know he loves like more of the classic stuff, and I'm sure it'll be closer to what the book was, because he's not technically even supposed to have a nose. He's got like the long hair, and he's supposed to be able to speak and eloquently as well. So we'll see. I don't know what version he's doing or what he plans on, but there is a pretty big lineup of people in there. I know Andrew Garfield is playing Dr. Frankenstein. So that should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, because that's the funny thing is that the monster is just Frankenstein's monster, or the monster. Frankenstein was actually the guy who built him, but for some dumb reason, the monster became known as Frankenstein.
Dude, there was a
monsters. He was named Adam.
Yep, Adam, as in man. That's what Adam.
Yeah.
But there was a movie in the early '80s that had Sting, who played Dr. Frankenstein.
Oh, that's hilarious! I got to see that.
It was called The Bride, and it had Clancy Brown as.
I feel like I've heard of this movie.
Yeah, it's really good. Like it's probably my favorite take on Frankenstein.
Oh, sweet. Let us know if it's streaming anywhere. I check that out. I like Clancy Brown.
Hell yeah.
Sting's okay too.
No, well, it's centered around the Bride of Frankenstein that was played by what's her face there, the Splash Dance chick.
I think Godzillionaire is trying to say why wouldn't they, not I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's perfect casting. No makeup required.
Yeah.
Wait, what were you just saying though before that?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, what the hell's her name? The hot chick from the '80s that had like black hair that was kind of like curly, and she was in Flashdance.
Jennifer Beals?
Yeah, Jennifer Beals. She's the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, you have me sold now.
And dude, there's like a naked scene.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jennifer Beals. Yeah, she was awesome. But that sounds like a pretty good cast. I wasn't familiar with it. If you got the name of it or you know where it's
like I said, I feel like I've heard of that, but the thing about those old monsters is they've made so many movies throughout time. You don't know if you're hearing about a soundless film they made 80 years ago or something that was made 40 years ago.
Yeah,
because they all have similar titles. And so I unless I specifically research it, but yeah, I feel like I've heard about that movie many times. The one that has like Frankenstein's bride in it,
right? Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know what's his name? They had Robert De Niro play that with Kenneth Branagh.
Oh God, that was awful.
Oh man, that was bad. That was terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I can't stand De Niro. But some of the other story elements were pretty good, but like that was the worst casting imaginable. I think that movie it had potential, but yeah, there's a lot of mistakes being made for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Captain Ash, he goes, yeah, I'd imagine he'd go with the updated Universal aesthetic version, but more true to the book. In the book, the monster is intelligent and stalks Dr. Frankenstein for lying to him. Yep. It would be interesting to see if he mixes the two, because I mean, essentially, there is plenty of like a lot of people who have done like the Frankenstein movies over the years. They've gone closer to the aspects of the book, but visually regarding the monster and how he speaks and whatnot. Yeah, I am curious. I am curious to see what he's going to do, because Guillermo del Toro, that's his thing. His thing is horror. He loves it. That's his baby, his bread and butter. It's what made him kind of famous and all that stuff. So I would imagine it'd be pretty decent. The only movies I've seen of his that I didn't like weren't necessarily 100% horror. They were they felt more like I don't know, like Twisted Tale type stories. One with a carnival with Bradley Cooper, which it was so predictable and boring. It felt almost like a bad episode of A Tales from the Crypt. And
go
ahead.
Did he do that animated stop motion or CGI animated Pinocchio one?
Yeah.
Not only did Pinocchio look really bad, but like if I were a kid watching that, I would have opened my wrists at the end of that film.
Yeah,
because they basically explained that you're all gonna die and your life is just a slow defeat and it's not really worth like hanging on anyways. And I'm like, that's the moral of this. What the hell?
That is terrible.
Yeah, the last 10 minutes.
The whole moral and like purpose of the original Pinocchio was like,
don't be a bad boy.
Well, yeah, and like the fact that it was supposed to show like the mystery and lies in this world. He's lied to about this place where he goes, and they turn him into a donkey when he thinks he's going to become a real boy and all that. And then he runs back into Fuck, I'm trying to remember his name.
Jiminy Cricket.
No, Jiminy Cricket's
Geppetto?
there to help him on his journey. Yeah, he runs back into Geppetto, and
Mhm.
Geppetto thinks he's a dream and that he's not really there. And he's come to the point in his journey where Geppetto doesn't really know anything that he doesn't know at this point. And like, it was supposed to be like a, kind of a movie with a journey and a purpose. And then at the end, he becomes a real boy. But yeah, I mean, the moral of the story was, more so just don't trust creepy weirdos, I guess, and go to weird islands. But
Well, again, when Hollywood they want to make you a star, you have to comply. They want you to do a very dystopian story. So Pinocchio, it is what it is.
Because essentially that's what happened. They gave this guy an Oscar, and then his next couple of movies were weird, depressing, bizarre stories, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, dude, the Pinocchio one had like the Italian fascists like fighting for Il Duce there. And they were basically recruiting like Hitler Youth. He joins Pinocchio joins Hitler Youth basically.
Oh wow!
Stop saying that.
I'm sorry.
Gonna get us Vinny demonetized. I'm not monetized, but
he's a mustachioed one.
Yeah, right. It's Jesus, man. Yeah. I know Frankie said he was really annoyed with that film.
Yeah, dude, it was just so depressed. Like the whole point of a movie is to like distract you from how shit the real world is. We don't need to be reminded of that.
Yeah.
What was the other one they had a while back? It was I, Frankenstein, and it was
with Thomas Jane.
Yeah,
no,
Thomas
it wasn't
Jane.
Thomas Jane. It's the actor that looked like Thomas Jane, Two-Face.
Yeah,
that's because Lovecraft is weird. Like I'm sure you've actually read the books. They're weirdly written and like, I like H.P. Lovecraft, but it would be weird to adapt a lot of those. But like Call of Cthulhu would be a cool one to see adapted to the screen, just because it's a really really cool story. But he's got just tons of good books.
What was that famous town with all the fish people in it?
What was that?
Cthulhu mythos or whatever was, it's all based on like New England. Like the Lovecraft was like a spoiled little New England kid, and so like I can't remember the name of the town. But he lived, I believe, in Maine, and it was like a port town, and they called it like that's what it was, Innsmouth, and it was like everybody in the town of Innsmouth. It's kind of like Stephen King's Castle Rock, but everybody
they're all having weird dreams.
Yeah, and they're all fish people. Like,
they
were all like, they had these like genes that awakened that turned them all into fish people, and the whole town just turned into like one bad like Disney Pirates of the Caribbean ship where like the barnacles and shit grew on the sides of the buildings and stuff.
That's funny.
That is weird. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with all that stuff, but
those are really weird.
They're
really cool books because they make you think, and like. Some of his books, while you're reading them, it's like you have to remind yourself this didn't really happen like a long time ago or something. They're kind of weird.
Wow.
Because like he'll go out of his way to make it sound believable or whatever, even though he's just telling a story.
Yeah. Well,
it'll sound like it's actually somebody's journal or whatever. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
The biggest adversary in Lovecraftian books isn't the elder gods and the horrors that the eldritch bring with them. It's your own insanity. Like every one of the characters that when they fully understand or fully grasp what's happening go completely nuts.
Yeah. Literally, it's the story of madness, basically. It's a series of stories of madness.
Well, if you were to read the stories and like I wasted my time in school studying developmental psychology, and we learned all about these different neuroses and psychoses and stuff, and like the various delusions people have. Yeah. And so there's this one, and it was funny too, because like I felt like such a bastard in school where they were giving us the case. But there's this one monster in the Lovecraftian mythos called the Hound of Tindalos. And basically what it is this thing that will hunt people down from this other dimension. And the only way that it will get you, essentially, is if there is a right angle somewhere. That's how it can enter this world.
I feel like I've heard this. Yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff he wrote. That's
corner of a room. Well, we had a patient study or a case study where somebody could not had a phobia of corners of the room and stuff, and I just blurted out, "Oh, somebody's got the The Hound of $10 has his scent, huh? And they all looked at me like,
Hilarious.
what the hell is this nerd talking?
Yeah, exactly. They didn't know what you were talking about at all. That's
Like,
always,
are you a patient?
it's always funny when you reference like pop culture that people aren't really aware of anymore. Because I mean, H.P. Lovecraft in the right circles is still well remembered, but yeah, his in the mainstream, like Trina was saying, they don't really make movies of his work or anything. Although it inspires many works and video games, it doesn't get directly adapted.
Doom was inspired by it. Event Horizon.
Yeah. Yep.
Just don't say the name of his cat.
Yeah, don't do that. Whatever you do, don't do that.
Not okay!
Okay. Thanks, Frank. Oh shit! Let's get back into the rant.
Vinny's like, I'm not done ranting.
We now get back to your regular schedule.
Yeah, we barely skimmed that surface. Here's one of those pieces from that hack artist, Greg Land, if you could call him an artist, a bullshit artist.
Not even an artist, dude. Somebody that works with AI has more artistic skill because at least you have to describe it and do it over and over before you get something bearable.
Yep.
Like,
but I guess this guy gave the right handies to the right editors over at Marvel, and he got his work. It's disgusting, dude. Absolutely disgusting. You can see it. It's just they're doing like little paper collages and things. Like they're cutting out and stitching together images, and then they trace over it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's just my art." It's not your art. That's photography that you traced over. It's plagiarism.
Kit bashing.
You're a fucking hack.
If that's the case, he probably didn't even use his own hand because he's not used to doing his own work.
You're right. And dude, it's funny too. I remember back in the day with Wizard Magazine, they showed like that guy's his steps of what he does, and he literally just grabs like one of those like the catalogs that came in the mail for like J.C. Penney and stuff like that. That guy would just trace over specific models from that and put them into sequential artwork. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Like, you know, I've heard back in the day when I went to when I was in high school, the art teacher was like, "You gotta have what they call an artist morgue." What the hell's that? And she opens up a drawer and it's just like all different images and pictures. Yeah, for inspiration. I'm like, okay, but then people they took that and actually started tracing over every single thing that they were saving. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. That is truly bullshit. What's it, July? He put out some overproduced video to gaslight the shit out of his audience into accepting traced work and traced assets and all that shit. I'm calling bullshit throughout. So the two examples that they pull up is Neil Adams, I'm not going to knock his early work. He did amazing stuff. He really did. And he helped out so many people. But at the same time, as he got older, he was becoming more and more dickish. I spoke with him a couple of times at conventions. He had a banner fall on top of me and my brother. He was right behind me at one of these shows. They didn't stabilize their shit that they had there. After, you know, traveling to a bunch of conventions every damn month they were doing, and they couldn't do their setup properly. So I'm working on a piece, and I almost had original artwork destroyed because of him. I was inking something when this thing fell on me. Yeah, and he came over to apologize afterwards because I ripped into his son and the other guy that was working there. And then when he came over, I'm like, well, he's like, yeah, I want to apologize formally. I'm like, I appreciate that. But I said, you almost bought, a couple $100 worth of artwork here because I was working on this stuff and it almost got destroyed. Well, I apologize. Okay, no problem, man. No problem. You want to actually help out? Then maybe talk to a fucking editor for me. Oh, you don't? Okay, then get on my face. There's a lot of people that this is the problem with the industry. None of them really trained or taught anyone coming up so that when they retire and they leave, that they can kind of pass the reins over to other people. They never did stuff like that. So what ends up happening is you have a series of hack artists who do scammy bullshit in order to get into the industry. And that's what most of them had done. And that's what we see throughout. And then it's all you need is one fucking gig with Marvel or DC, and that's enough to get a fan base, or that's enough to get enough clout where you get work with other companies. And that's how this shit always works. It's not even about your skill level. It's all bullshit. You know, again, this is someone who's worked in the industry. There's a peek behind the curtain, not just these people who blow smoke up your ass. You know, like whatever books you want to buy, God bless, buy whatever you want to buy. I don't care. I'm not telling you not to. But what I'm saying is when you have people who are gaslighting you and trying to trick you into being, it's okay to have scam artists working on your product. No, that's bullshit. I'm sorry. That is total bullshit. And they bring up the other example of like Drew Struzan. Drew Struzan is a completely different case. The majority of his stuff, he actually photographed the actors on whatever movie it was. Back to the Future. He did a full photo shoot with all the actors from the films. He went above and beyond. And whatever he was tracing or redrawing or whatever the process that he did, because it's a series of different things with that guy. I've seen him draw. He could do realistic, lifelike things 100%. He doesn't have to trace. But for these studio companies and deadlines and the crazy things that they make them do, because a lot of times it is last minute shit too that you got to get, or some producer, say a Harvey Weinstein or somebody goes, no, I don't want that angle. I want a bigger explosion in the background, and I want this character in there that's not on it. And this person who's only in a small part of the movie should be bigger because we want to fool the audience into believing that this guy has a bigger role in the film. And then you got to go back and make all these stupid changes. So that's not a sequential artist. That's a commercial artist, and he's doing something different than comic books. Has he done a couple of covers? Sure, whatever. But were they anything to write home about? No. I seen a couple of them. I wasn't impressed. He did like a Superman 900 cover, I think, or one of these stupid things, and I wasn't wowed by it. But his movie shit was good because, again, you had to put imagination to it. It wasn't just I'm just going to trace a couple of images. That's not it. And he still has the skill level to paint. And that's another big thing that people overlook all the time. Man, it's crazy. Like this whole industry, it's filled with so many snakes and douchebags. Then you have the ones who are just all ego and they think that they know everything. And yet they make amateur mistakes like having arms that are too fucking long on one part of the body. And I see
symmetry.
A slew of stupid shit. Yeah, no symmetry whatsoever. You know, messed up compositions and all sorts of dumb shit. And everyone thinks there's something special. Listen, nobody's perfect. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Everyone's shit smells. Sorry. Hate to burst that bubble for folks, but at the same time, people who want to continue to learn, who keep pushing themselves, the more you know, the better your skill level is going to be. Hence, the quality will be better. Your storytelling will be better. People will buy more of your stuff. What ends up happening is other shit. Right now, the entire landscape is ruled by social media. It's about your fame level. That's what's selling.
It's literally
books
about
right
likes.
Yeah, it's likes. It's everything that basically they did with the phones bled over into everything else. You know, brainwashing people with these apps, Instagram, Facebook, all this dumb shit. And that's what it all came down to. Right now, it's the YouTube streaming nonsense. And most people are running over here because they know that it's comic books are YouTube merchandise right now for famous people. So that's what they're all doing. That's what they're all pushing into this for. And like I said, it's muddying up everything. It's making a mess of everything. And it just keeps bringing the quality lower and lower. It's really sad. You know, it's sad and disgusting. And like I said, it applies with those 3D models and shit too, because everything's looking the same. If you've noticed,
a lot of it does. I was gonna say hey to Slasher because he popped in, but
I noticed everything in America looked the same.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting to a vent about some of the plagiarism, and I can't.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello, Slasher.
You're perfectly justified. What you're saying is completely true. They need to hear it.
Yeah, we got GG Ping Pong. Holy.
Hello, Vinny. How are you tonight? I figure I take over Toback computer since you're a dumbass and talk to you. I hate people who steal shit away. I like to steal shit.
Oh shit! Yeah, man. Yeah, we have all the intellectual properties that are being stolen by these other countries and shit too. Because they keep
China would never do that, Vinny. Don't say that.
Oh yeah, just ask Blizzard about the theme park that they don't see, or the Blizzard property themed theme park.
My
The
God.
theme
That was
park,
hilarious.
all the
They just
boat
built a
lake.
whole Blizzard themed theme park without any licensing or permission.
What?
They
Wait,
blind.
Blizzard,
Are you jealous?
Blizzard, the video game company.
Yeah. There's a theme park in China called like Joy Fun Club or whatever, and it's freaking like you walk through Stormwind Castle. You take like the Diablo 3 ride. Like there's like
Okay.
a statue of the Queen of Blades, Kerrigan, and it's like they have no.
Yeah, they got like
shame.
a World of Warcraft section of the park. It's freaking hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Like
how do they
Disneyland,
make-
but Blizzard.
Well, how do
Yeah,
they maintain the parks? Because I know I seen some footage of like the Disney World or the Disneyland that's over there, and the whole thing is run down.
Oh, Vinny.
yeah,
The
offended
Chinese
China.
knockoff Disneyland did not work out. They tried to do a knockoff Disneyland. It didn't work out. That's in ruins. I think they actually tore that down or have started.
Well, they tore that one down. But I know the regular Disneyland they had, there was garbage everywhere. I think they said there was even footage of somebody like.
Well, I was going to say there was one.
That's
I think there's
China in
one in
general.
Hong Kong. I don't think there's a Disneyland in actual China. I think there's one in Hong Kong. I know there's one in Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah,
I-
dude. Like,
Because that would
This
probably
is
be
the
the one in
country-
Hong Kong, which now China claims Hong Kong. So
Gotcha.
yeah, and pretty soon another country. But
yeah,
dude, like these people like I can't even describe some of my disgust for like the filth and the squalor that China tolerates. Like, you know how on your weather app on your phone you have things like there's a little rain icon, or there's like a little I don't know, a wind icon or a sunny day or whatever. It's like, oh
Yeah, the weather indicators. Yeah.
yeah, they have a weather indicator for something called particulates, where it basically says don't go outside because you're breathing in cancer and death-causing particulates. And it like I had a coworker that lived out there, and he's walking the streets, and it started raining oil.
Don't worry, we have a solution. We have just created for next pandemic mobile body incineration unit. It's going to fix everything. Don't worry. We
my
go
God.
trash in too.
God, you trying to like light up a cigarette while that rains?
This is comedy and parody, YouTube. In case you're gonna, you old douchey. Yeah, Frankie said, yeah, the lady who pooped on Main Street in the flower bed. Yeah, it was on a YouTube video.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
remember the
we-
street oil?
Not the
All the
street oil.
cooking oil?
What
Yeah, the cooking
happened
oil.
in one of the parks over there in the Disney park?
Oh,
Yeah, hey, some lady defecated in the flower bed.
well, actually, we can't really fault that. Have you seen some of the future doctors doing stuff, or the future engineers doing stuff, like the lady who dropped a moist coily in the supermarket? Like,
wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
When
the
you
one
gotta
that
go,
the one that
you
ripped off
gotta go.
all her clothes, and then she went to the bakery and was rubbing cakes all
Yeah.
over herself.
yep.
Itself, I don't know. Was it that
Yeah.
Nyla thing that Draven was fighting with? I don't know.
Oh no,
But-
Who knows?
it was a heffalump. Yeah, it was disgusting.
Nephilim. Oh, that's a good one. But yeah, dude, I don't know, man. It's just all of it's just disgusting. Like this whole world's full of this shit.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Like literally. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I know, like the World Economic Forum, like all those people, they've been getting very vocal lately too, and trying to push
Like,
shit.
They're getting pushback, dude. That freaking
They are.
Argentinian president was freaking awesome.
Yeah, there was someone.
Yeah,
else
that
who
was
spoke up,
great.
too. Yeah, they should. More people should, because none of them were appointed. The ones who are running the Davos.
Fuck
group.
no, they're literally like some freaking thing out of a movie. They just came to be in that position.
Yeah, they're like
It's
villains out of a
all the,
007 movie.
Yeah, that's what
Well,
I mean.
look
They're
at
just
the
magically
UK.
there. Nobody appointed them or anything.
Yeah.
Well, look at the UK. Almost every one of the prime ministers and like major mayors, they're all Pakistani, and nobody voted for them. Like the prime minister of Scotland's like, there's too many Scottish people in Scotland, and it's like this Indian dude.
Wow.
And it's like, who the hell elected you? Like, get the hell out. Like,
Yeah. A lot of those places are probably going to have a violent revolution at some point, just because they're going to have to take their home back.
yeah, that's what it
I
is.
mean, I hate to go there, but you know how it ends. I mean, we've
Yeah.
seen it with
Well-
innumerable countries. It's not to assume that Western countries are any different. We've already seen it years ago in France and places like that, where they just went in and had enough.
Yeah,
In
and
the
then
words
the
of,
the fed up citizens are going to be the ones demonized for fucking
Yep.
fighting back.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
they're already doing
Yeah.
that. Look at McCarthyism. McCarthy, like calling it McCarthyism within itself is a propagandized term. I mean, he wasn't the one that started that. That thing was started like basically it was. They're like, oh, it's a Red Scare, the witch hunt. No, it was literally Stalin was able to procure the atom bomb from America, and the United States is like, how the hell did the Soviets get this? Oh, we have enemy agents in our country, and they found them in Hollywood. Like,
Yep. That's actually a well-documented thing. Like, you can actually just find that by Googling it. My brother was telling me that because I said that I thought that because I actually thought the Russians developed it on their own, and he's like, no, they basically stole it from the Manhattan Project.
Yeah,
and then
you pay attention to the media, and it's like the worst tragedy in the world. Like, it's like, dude, this is the first time the lefties were like canceled, and they like frame it like it's this like horrible, like it's like, no, dude, this was a good thing. The only mistake that McCarthy made was he didn't finish the antibiotic prescription, and the disease came back more resistant.
Yeah.
I was going to say, by the time the West realizes, and by West I mean Europe, realizes what's going on, and some people have, by the time they actually do something, it'll be way too late.
Oh yeah,
it's already way too. It's already way too
when
late.
I say that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's
obviously I don't fully know. I just know that, like, I mean, technically it's still their country. I don't know.
The only reason we have a chance
I mean,
because
if they've
of the
seized
second
the means of production and shit like that, then it really is hard to stop the revolution at that point. So if they're like in the government and stuff, which they are.
Well, maybe we should steer this conversation away until we're specifically on Rumble.
Possibly.
Yeah, let's go back into the plagiarism bit, because I mean that's basically what they've been doing, right? In history, it's more plagiarism.
Oh yeah,
they're copying the plans of other dictators and whatnot, and they're implementing them even.
Yeah, they've been cheating off of Orwell.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy hell, dude. Oh yeah. The other thing
it is funny because apparently when everybody else read Orwell, they were horrified, but when these people read Orwell, they're like, "There's our plan."
Oh, they're inspired. Yeah, we'll show a video later with Hillary rotten veg there. There's the video that they don't want you to see. No, not the really disturbing one. The other disturbing one where she's in court. We'll talk about that a little bit, but yeah, it's Godzilla. He called it too. Yeah, plagiarism will make you president of Harvard. Yeah, there's plenty of nasty snakes out there, but yeah, it's in most aspects of things. That's why I'm always telling people, man, like work properly, know the basics of what you're doing. Because once you could master things properly, then you could play around and do other stuff. But if you don't know what you're doing and all you're doing is tracing images, you're a hack, or you're
talking about the wrong timeline. This is the timeline where mediocrity and or just outright, incompetence is it's not just okayed. It seems to be rewarded. Because how many people in all sorts of industries across the board fail upwards?
Yeah, it seems to keep happening, right? But like I said too, it comes down to who you know. That's all it is. It's all about the horseshit networking thing. I've seen a lot of the after party stuff and how a lot of these people and these deals are being made, and how I've seen like someone with like no talent go somewhere in a high position and then basically destroyed like I think at least 2 characters in 2 different companies, and they keep again failing upward. They keep putting them on other stuff, and it's like, what the hell? Did you guys not see what they did? They like literally destroyed big characters have been around 20, 30 years. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's just, it comes down to that bullshit. And fans, man, I wish more fans would step up and just be like, no, I want quality. Otherwise, I'm not going to get this stuff anymore. Stop looking at brand names. Brand names are bullshit at this point. They really are. Look at the fashion world. Like, who's involved in very nefarious things, the Balenciaga and all that kind of crap. Yeah, they're brand names, but look at the horrible shit and evil things that they've done. Look at Marvel and DC and the terrible things that they've done. They've attacked fans more than anybody. They've hired people who really got out of their way to say fuck you to the fans, and people are still eating up their work. They'll keep running out there and buying every Mark Waid book imaginable. And this guy, He doesn't care what happens to the industry either. If it falls apart, yeah, well, screw it. I'm still making my money. If it falls, it falls. I know I still have a job until the last day. You know, that's what his mentality is. And a lot of them are like that. It's about their nut. Nobody else. They don't care about it. You know, I've seen some of the retired folk who came over to the crowdfunding side of things. It's the same shit. They're not boosting and promoting people. The only ones that they'll do is if they got a blessing from a certain individual. It's the only time they'll promote anybody. But in the same breath, it's like they ignore the people who have been fulfilling projects and at a high caliber, you know, because it's all about steering their audience where they want them to go. It's really fucked up. You want true freedom, true independence? Don't jump on board any of these ridiculous cults, because that's what it is, man. They just want this fake brand name recognition. It's not about anything else. That's why I said I'm tired of it. If people saw my video from almost 2 years ago now, where I came out, I spoke verbally about these people, certain individuals, and their bad acting and the horseshit that they've done, because they literally tried to have somebody off themselves. And that to me was more disgusting than anything else. Because normally I don't care. Like, all right, you people hate each other, fine. Just go your separate ways. And if you can't, then that's on you. You know, it's insane what most of these people do and how they behave. But then at the same time, I showed the facts. I showed who was lying, who was sending groups of people to go attack others. I showed the ones who were literally trying to fraud PayPal and myself. I had to report a certain individual to the cyber crime division of the FBI at the behest of PayPal. They were said, yeah, what they did was completely illegal, and they sent me the information of what I was supposed to do, and I did, because I don't give a shit. You know, these people, if you did something evil and criminal, yeah, you should be called out for it, 100%. Because there's too many people that just sit in their hands, or they want to be recognized by these certain people. Oh, they're in a higher position. Fuck them. Fuck all of them. You know, nobody's better than any other individual. You know, and I think it's important for people to step up and do the right thing. Because if you don't, you're going to keep getting sub-quality shit. You're going to keep getting your beloved characters falling apart and being destroyed. Look at what they did to Indiana Jones. Look what they're doing to the Marvel Universe. It's the same shit across the board. And why? Because people still buy that crap. They'll bitch about it, but then they don't make any changes. Okay, if you don't make any changes, you're still supporting it, then you're going to expect the same result. Are you not? It's ridiculous. You know, I'm tired of it, dude. I'm absolutely tired of it. What's up, Adam?
Hey, buddy. I'm just checking in from Hoth.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Dude, what's the temperature over there?
I'm pretty sure we don't have one, but let me check. You know, usually it's pretty negative.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we're not in Perth today. No. Let's get to our temperature, and the temperature is 1.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's
a
wow.
degree out there.
Yeah.
I'm over here.
I'm all excited, Vinny. They've been listening to you go off, and now they're responding to your response, and they agree.
I'm over here at 24 degrees. So yeah, it's looking like fucking Malibu compared to
it's
Adam.
15 here.
Malibu. Holy hell. Yeah. Oh, actually, Chris, he just he's showing me something here in the back. Let me present. Yeah. Apparently, the 3D nonsense that most of these people are doing now. That Dave Branky had brought up. And this is what they're doing. They're using these digital assets, so everything is looking the same. It's all cheap, nasty stuff that these fellas are doing. I don't get it. I really don't. You know,
Look at his last sentence.
Good marketing is more profitable than good books. Yep. Yep. Well, it also helps if you're famous
seriously.
already. You know, you got millions of supporters
exactly.
already. You got millions in the bank already. Yeah, of course it's going to.
Well, the hype. Yeah, exactly.
The hype train doesn't end. And like I said, I don't care. I don't have hate towards the guy in any level either. But when it comes down to these people who are trying to preach this shit, I'm going to call out the facts. That's all this is. I'm calling out the fucking facts on it.
I left a pretty lengthy reply to his comment, but I don't know if it got lost or whatever. But basically, I basically reinforced. I was like, yeah, dude, like it is marketing. Marketing is a lot more important than the quality of your product, especially perceived quality of your product. Like the quality that you perceive, the quality that the creator perceives of their product is irrelevant. The only perception of quality that matters is what the customer perceives. And marketing is designed to change or to skew the view of the value quality or the quality of, or the perception of quality.
Yeah.
So,
well, again, when you put more effort into doing a video that's trying to defend the actions of this type of shit, instead of actually doing the research beforehand and making sure that your artist is stepping up the proper way, then yeah, I agree with you, Chris. That's for sure, man. Because these people don't really care about what they're doing.
Well, here's my
no,
case
they
in
don't.
point.
It's just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Here's my case in point. Okay, case in point. 1978, the Pet Rock. A man literally went out to his backyard, picked up a pebble, put it in some straw, and put it in a box, and he made millions off of it.
Yep.
Yep. Entrepreneurship, baby.
Yep.
Yeah. That is the ability. That is the perception of value of the customer, not the perception of value from the creator.
Yeah.
It's crazy shit. Crazy shit all around.
Don't forget the kryptonite rock, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny too, whenever I see these other people who want to simp and kiss ass, they're like, just grow your own channel, do your own thing. Okay, yeah, I'll go live on the Blaze or whatever with what's his face? Glenn Beck for like 10 years, and then I'll do the same. Get the fuck out of here. Everyone's been trying to do stuff, you know. I've had a channel for at least 6 years or so. Well, an active one. I've had the thing for a while, but like I didn't start really doing streams and stuff and showcasing people until I got involved with this stuff that I thought was going to be something proper, and then I found out no, it's more bullshit. It's more somebody's trying to control a group of other artists, creators, and fans. It was never intended to be any kind of movement to replace anything. It was all bullshit. It was literally just gaslighting people into give me super chats. If you give me super chats, I'll showcase your subpar projects. That's what it came down to. And me, on the other hand, I was actually grabbing people who I thought were pretty nice, pretty decent, and I saw them working hard. And I'd be, yeah, you want to promote on my channel? Let's do it. You know, I've since removed a lot of those streams and stuff because, again, most of them showed themselves to be either backstabbers or liars as well. I'm like, okay, well, I'll sift through that shit. That's why my channel's taken so many different turns. And I'll focus more on the toy side of things. That's my background in, you know, being a lead designer and all that stuff. So, okay. And I was showcasing a lot of those things.
You should go design freaking Transformers for Hasbro because they seem to only have like 2 or 3 good lines.
Yeah, it seems that way. But I don't think I'm Asian enough to design those things into proper transformation and whatnot.
Yeah.
But
personal attack or something.
Yes,
No,
yes, it is. Just this one time, though.
Well, most of the people that they have doing those, I mean, they're specifically like that's been their thing for a long time.
Yeah,
and I don't know those programs because like they're working with like 3D model programs in order to, because you got to get all those joints and things to fit properly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
you're basically designing 2 products simultaneously.
Yeah, that's exactly. Because look, back in the day, they actually had like jerry rig kind of like sculpts that they were working on first, where they'd have like the kind of block forms and they break it up and then try to see if they can make it into a robot and whatnot. Like, I mean, the process has been crazy over the years, and it's amazing how technology advanced for them to do what they've been doing. It is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
like,
no, some of them are really amazing. I was just saying that.
Oh, I agree.
If anything, you should go there and try to help them design GI Joes. Those don't transform. Those don't take nearly the engineering, and then it would just be art.
Yeah, but that's the same thing too. It comes down to someone who could be like a proper art director, because that thing, like, whatever side it is, it could be Transformers, could be GI Joe, whatever. It's getting down a certain aesthetic that'll work for the characters and for the lines, and then what other items, accessories they should come with, that type of stuff, and even breaking it down. You could break it down to the paint applications as well, depending on, again, how involved that art director is, because a lot of times they do have like someone who's just in charge specifically of the drawing design element of it, then someone who oversees the sculpt itself, and then there's the ones who dictate the paint job and whatnot, and they're all different departments. Other times you'll have somebody who's kind of involved in all of it. You know, and I did a little bit of everything when I was at McFarlane. including the paint applications and stuff. I've done some of the models for that as well. But primarily I was drawing and designing, lines of figures, and then talking to the artists and the weapon fabricators, and, to make sure everything was going to be the way it should have been, scaling, all that stuff. There's a lot that goes into it, because you're not going to have like a female figure in the line that towers over your hero unless she's like literally the character's supposed to be a giant. There's certain aspects that you need to get correct. But and again, there's skill sets on everything. But like I said, when it comes down to these people who just want to preach a big game and defend people who are already established in a major way, like, I don't even want to hear it. To me, it's complete nonsense. It's like, you're part of the problem, because all of us, we're all doing what we could here. We're all fighting. We're all trying to help one another. And when you have this infighting stuff and acting like children in a sandbox, you're not going to go anywhere. Things are going to keep being destroyed, and the people who are in these positions, air quotations, of power will stay in those positions,
And the problem is that mostly they're just doing it for money, whereas comic books started and there really wasn't a lot of money in it. Like, the people who made up all the iconic superheroes, they weren't making a ton of money when they were first making up those characters. They were doing it because they liked it. They felt passionate about what they were doing, and so that was their work, and then the world recognized their talent, and then the world butchered their talent. But usually post-mortem, those people have all luckily been gone before everybody ruined their stuff. But
exactly. But and that's the thing too, like Stan Lee, same deal. He was part of, again, creating all those worlds, all these things. But what did he do? In the 60s and 70s, he decided to figure out stuff with the Hollywood side, and then he went over there. We've had a lot of like subpar projects, but there was also some stuff that, little gems here and there, certain cartoons that were good. But because he was trying to make sure that those characters and that brand will exist and be something strong and generate the proper money, because we know that comics started picking up in a bigger way. And when they had to charge more on books, because it went from nickel and dime up into the dollars, when it came to like cover price on certain things. They started generating
prices
money.
of everything went up, and so comic books that used to be a nickel or a quarter just cannot be that cheap anymore.
Right.
So.
I mean, look at the 80s. I mean, we had a massive boom with all that stuff too. You had Spider-Man titles and X-Men titles that were pulling in millions per issue, like
enough to where Hollywood took recognition and started making movies about them, even if they weren't all good.
Oh, for sure, dude, for sure.
Like, it would never have made it to Hollywood if it hadn't have grown in popularity. But I mean, it's a well-known fact that like when they started making comic books, they weren't that like long ago, because they started making comic books in like the 20s and 30s, and they weren't that popular.
Yeah,
but
you
by
had
the time
some things that became serials and radio serials and whatnot too. Like you had like, it was getting into it. So like, obviously someone like Stan Lee, he was able to see more into it and wanted to push more, because he knows, all right, we could do better things. We could have cooler shit happen. So let's do it. Let's see what money we could actually generate.
And Stan Lee always wrote some of the coolest stories.
He did. But let's go back for a second though too. Like the heyday of those artists, the ones who really, those artists and writers, your Jim Lees, your McFarlanes, your Mark Silvestris, your writers, Chris Claremounts, these people who made really, really good stories. Where did they come from beforehand? Who did they speak to? Listen and watch some of their stories. They were put under the wing of another really great artist, a great editor, people who wanted quality storytelling. You had John Buscema, who was teaching so many people. He put out that book with Stan Lee, The Marvel Way to Draw. There's so many different things that helped to get certain established artists to where they ended up becoming superstars, right? And those books were selling crazy numbers because they started changing things up. They started evolving it, breaking borders. But what did they know? They knew the basics. They knew the proper storytelling aspects. They didn't just trace for the sake of tracing to get a deadline made. It was more like, no, we should know what we're doing here. And then obviously, there's some hack shit here and there. But for the most part, those guys were all drawing. They were doing the proper thing. And what happened? It reflected with the sales of the product of these books. But here's the other thing. Then the clicks started happening because those guys were making so much money. Then when they left and they did Image, they did their own thing. They started bringing in others. And they said, you got to emulate my style only. And then from there, they were getting more lazy because they were partying. They were spending their money that they had pulled in. You had Jim Lee sold his studio over to DC. he got so rich he had a house on Martha's Vineyard and fucking next to Cluny in Italy, and all kind of crazy shit. They were living these insane lifestyles, and what happened? The product was falling to shit.
Yep.
The people who should have been taught certain things pass that knowledge from the old timers, pass it over and make sure that the newer guys coming up, they know what they're doing. They'll get better. Nope. It was a selfish thing, and that's what kept happening. And then it got worse, because then you had the editors who were complete douchebags, who they were either like interns or something, and now it's their turn, and they think that they could do whatever they want, and they just kept muddying up the water, making it worse, diluting it. And that's why we're at the level that we're at right now, where it's people who are literally tracing. They're using these programs to get their books done. All the assets look the same. Then now they're pivoting over to the manga side, where it's like, oh, well, look at all the stuff that they're doing. We'll use their programs, and everything's looking the same. Because again, they use the same assets, the same brushes, you name it. And that's why everything's looking like shit. There's no imagination.
Yeah.
Who cares about imagination? They all suck anyway. It doesn't matter. Every single one of them, up and down the board, they all blow. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Tommy.
I figured you were talking about people that were sucking. Now let's go at them. Man, these fucking people, they're absolutely worthless. They've been destroying the ship for Jesus, almost a decade now. Really, they've been doing it in silence, and nobody really noticed. You want to talk about destruction of everything that you know and you love it. Like some people don't even see it. Like everybody who likes Lord of the Rings don't see the destruction that was actually in that one. The girl power moments and shit like that freaking Peter Jackson put in there. Like, how can you miss that? And no, I am not talking about the end of the movie. That was legitimately in the book. I'm talking about the part where she saves freaking Frodo.
Oh,
that never happens.
No, that was
no,
that wasn't even him.
It was Elrond that did that.
No, it was Elrond's river that saved them. But it was he's not in any of the movies. He's Glorfindel that actually shows up to save them. They made it Legolas in the 70s, and then when Peter Jackson did his, he used Elrond's daughter, which I'm forgetting her name right now. Arwen. Yeah, he used Arwen instead. But and she shouldn't have the Light of the Valar either, or Valar. Because that she's never been to the Undying Lands, and so it just kind of whatever. I don't know. She has a bunch of powers she shouldn't have.
My thing is like, dude, I'm sorry, but I know this might make me unpopular or whatever, but those Lord of the Ring books are a fucking slog to get through. Like, it reads like a British textbook. Like, if that guy had hyperlinks, that book would be like maybe 50 pages long. Or those books would be 50. Because it suffers the Stephen King effect, where it'll introduce something and then it will go on this 50-page tangent describing that thing.
Yeah.
And I
what makes those movies your books great, excuse me. Not the movies, the books.
But
it's
better. It's like I want the story to progress. I don't want a dissertation on hobbits genealogies or whatever. I think that's why the movie was resonated with a lot of people, was because if you like it or hate it, Philippa Boyens there, the writer, she omitted Tom Bombadil, and I didn't fucking care. The whole barrel.
Well, you know what?
A lot of people hate the Tom Bombadil.
Christopher Lee actually talked about that. So he there was a lot of things he didn't like about not only the Lord of the Rings. There was a lot of stuff in the Hobbit that he didn't like either, because it deviated from the original canon that
was the last
that Tolkien did. But he said, as far as the Bombadil thing, he said he completely understood why they omitted that section, because it really doesn't progress the story all that much. Yeah, it does, because it kind of takes a sidestep.
Well, there's other little things that also
do that. That's the cool thing about books, is it can go on and on forever, and you can't do that in a movie. You would need a 10-hour time slot. You can't tell everything.
When you're writing a story.
Sorry. What? Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, I guess didn't mean to talk over you. Sorry, man.
Oh no, I did. Sorry.
Well, yeah. So when you're writing stories, you have to worry about pacing. You have to do peaks and troughs. And Tolkien was a philologist. He wasn't a prose writer, and it showed. And when you go through if it's just peaks or troughs or valleys, it's incredibly boring. And there were sections of the like what the screenwriters did for the Lord of the Rings where there were points where they're like, we don't want the Barrow Wights, we don't want, there are things that I'll 100% agree with that shouldn't have been deviated from the book. Like the death of Saruman the Colorless was freaking stupid in the movies. Didn't make any sense. The way that basically it also made the hobbits look like weak pussies because in the books he actually goes and tries to conquer the Shire and they kick his ass.
Yeah, it's a great scene. Like it shows that the hobbits aren't that. I mean, you have to draw it with your mind because it's in the book. But like, if it were ever adapted, it would have been a great scene because we would have seen them be mean, which they're always portrayed as these docile little people, but they can be mean in the books.
Well,
So
I mean,
they turn to murder bears.
Oh, that's the thing that they not only did in the Lord of the Rings, but they absolutely did in the Hobbit. And you know what? I was always a huge fan of the original animated Hobbit that came out. The Rankin Bass one. Yeah, I love that thing. But I finally got a copy of The Hobbit and read through it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Like neither the movie nor the book come close. They are both off in their own rights. Now, there's things that the movie actually puts in that the cartoon omits, and then there's things that the cartoon has in there that the book omits. So, like between the two of them, if you were to bash the animated and the movie together, you would actually get the legit story from the Hobbit book. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, like if you took the animated version and the live action, and between them, you can kind of get what actually happens.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's little things that they did here and there, but there was one other thing when you guys were mentioning Transformers. So their original models that they were doing for them, they were doing them out of wood. I don't know if you were aware of that.
That's
Takara, Takara was actually making these things out of wood. So
they weren't even waxed.
Yeah, that Sunstreaker and his original wooden model that they did for him.
Wow.
Oh, damn.
That's pretty cool.
That's really detailed too. For being a wood carving.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. You can tell they designed the car first and then tried to make a robot out of the car.
Absolutely. Well, they're not to get into it too much, but their original line was all like futuristic spaceships and shit like that. And it did really well for a while in the Diaclone line, and then it just started dying badly. So they were looking around like, what else is hot at the time? And at the time, Hot Wheels and Matchbox were just coming up, and they were the toy to grab. So they went to that. Another thing that they went to is in their microchange line, they went towards the penny racer cars that were hot at the time. And that's why all those little mini cars all look super deformed. Yeah, because they're based off of penny racers.
Wow.
I love those things.
That's cool. Yeah, dude, but that's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, there's things that work, innovation. Take a look at what's kind of on the plane of what's going on right now, and you could do the proper things because they put quality in it, man. They spent time, they spent money, they did it the right way. It's not just hack shit.
Well, and I think again, getting back to your original point about these independent creators and all these artists and everything like that are working for these big companies, that's the same thing. They can do the work if they want to, but it does seem like, and we see it all the time with the younger generation, they don't want to put forth the effort. They think that they should be getting better pay for less quality and less work.
But Tom, it's not all of them.
I know it's some of the older ones too. I know because, I mean, Vinny, if you're the old guy and you've paid your dues, right? And you see these young up and comers coming in, and they're doing half the work that you're doing, but getting paid the same amount. Are you going to keep doing the same quality work at that point? And like, why the hell should you? I think that's the attitude of a lot of these guys.
Well, look at it from a business perspective, okay? Like, you really can't judge the product if you're an artist looking at it because you bring your bias as an art. Like, you have insights that the ignorant masses don't have. And like that's why AI is getting away with a lot of its garbage, is because, like, to me, AI looks painfully like I don't know, homogenized. Like, it looks very like it's the same like Asian woman's face on like every chick, like it all looks the same to me. But to the average Joe, again, going back to what I was saying about it doesn't matter about the perception of quality from the creator. It has to do with the perception of quality from the customer. And these companies are looking to cut costs and cut corners. And if it takes one day to do 10 pages of AI crap or traced crap or whatever, or if it takes, 1 day to do like just the penciling of 1 page. Guess which one the businesses are going to go for.
Mm-hmm. But and here's the thing, and a lot of these people, they're brain dead, and they complied to this stuff. They let it happen.
Well, they don't see it.
But here's the thing too, because again, like I said, I'm a fan of certain things. They're books I've collected for years as well. It's not you remove the artist aspect from it. When you see shit quality, you can tell what's shit. The thing is, people will still buy the brand. They'll still buy Spider-Man, Batman.
That is true.
It doesn't matter who's working on it. It doesn't matter how bad the book is. You'll have some people drop off, but their numbers will still be strong enough,
Well,
and
brand
that's
recognition
what the other problem
is powerful. Look at the Barbie movie, dude. Like that, I have, friends that are girls that went and saw that, and they're like, "Oh, that was awful." And it was like, "Well, why'd you go?" And like, "Cause it's Barbie, man."
Well, it's the same thing.
It's
with
brand loyalty
franchises.
is what they call that. That's called brand loyalty, where basically if something's made by a company you like, you just go support it anyway.
Yeah.
That's what Tommy always complains about the people who review toys.
That's the same thing that Disney did when they bought Lucasfilm Limited and all their assets. They were going after that recognition of that brand. And it wasn't just Star Wars like everybody thinks. They were going after the brand recognition of Lucasfilm because it's known around the world. Producing quality entertainment. At one time, Disney wanted their cameras and everything, and they couldn't get them at a decent price because Lucas was going to rape them. Grape them with the prices. They were going to grape them, and they had to create their own shit, and that's what they wound up using on the Black Hole.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let's go back to a sec too about quality and all this stuff, and what people realize.
I was going to say real quick, the only property that Disney hasn't tried to remake is American Graffiti. As far as Lucasfilm goes, they immediately grabbed everything and started, throwing shit at the wall. Because
it's too old, and it's something that they know that people...
no shit. But I think Indiana Jones and all that stuff were probably a little too old anyway. That's why they just don't seem to recognize this. That a lot of that stuff was in the past, and they were going to have to do new things anyway. Because Harrison's too old, and he is Indiana Jones to most people, and so
hold on. Well, I'll break that down too for a sec too, because they had.
Sorry to interrupt, but he brought up Lucasfilm, and I was just realizing the only thing they haven't thrown at the wall is that old movie that he made before Star Wars, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, again, because they're again just like Marvel, the house of stolen ideas, and going back to the old well of bullshit. I was gonna say. Captain Addis, he made a great point too of producing good art educates the average person as what to look for in beauty and whatnot. Another great point was again the Renaissance, same deal. It was such a great period of people educating, population, raising overall culture, society. They started building something better. People were looking at quality. They wanted to be more innovative in certain things. And it's skill. It's not relying on a tool to do the job for you. It's people doing the right thing and putting out the right stuff. And that's what I was saying before. Had like the people who were coming up in the 80s and 90s and whatnot, if the knowledge that they got from some of the old timers, because again, that's when conventions started to pick up as well. And they were starting to do them. And you would talk to people like Jack Kirby. You'd be able to see these people in person. And
I was going to say conventions weren't much. You're right; they weren't much of a thing before the '80s. You really didn't go to big nerd conventions, and still, I guess that wasn't really much of a thing.
Well, that's it. But it's a lot of the artists who did go to those things. They got so much information and education from those guys. And the thing is, as they passed away, the ones who came up in the industry and all this stuff, they didn't pass that knowledge down. How come there aren't other artists and writers who are doing little courses and things for people? You know who I see that are doing it? People who left the video game world, or people who are in concept artwork. I see them doing it because it's been a great YouTube job for them. That they left all their other businesses because they're doing these things and they're selling their shit online like that. But what happened? They built the fan base first with some of the projects and things that they had worked on. It's crazy how all this shit worked out and kind of where it's headed right now. But the thing is, if you keep the quality low and you keep doing the scam bullshit, there's a reason why these books are falling apart. There's a reason why it's all falling to shit.
Like, there's something I got to bring up though about like the quality of the products and everything. Like, just for a moment, think that maybe the product itself is irrelevant because like there's this excellent documentary that I advise everybody to watch called The Merchants of Cool. It was an old Frontline documentary. And it talks about how marketing can infiltrate cool culture or rage culture even, and sell products. And it basically, one of the strategies that these people used was they would get these marketing firms to get to local local high schools, and they would find the cool kids. And they would give these cool kids their product, be it Sprite, or something. They'd hand them the free product and give them free samples and tell them to, proliferate it amongst their friends or whatever, And all of a sudden, all of the cool kids, all of the kids that wanted to be cool would see these cool kids with these products and then buy it themselves. Even if the Sprite tastes like shit, they'd be like, this is awesome, and they'd buy it. And the thing is what that established was that basic human psychology, or the need to want to belong to something, aka I want to be part of the cool kids club. They're not buying the product. They're buying admission into that belonging, or
they're buying into the idea of it.
Exactly.
That's 100% it. And that's what they do with the influencers now. 100%. I mean, Ratton nailed it as well. We've seen it. We've seen it across the board. It's like, oh, you got to like this and that because everyone else is liking it. God forbid you judge it, then they want to crucify you.
Well,
marketing, marketing. Because the cell phones did the same thing to kids, man. My kids, as they were growing up, and they're in their mid-20s now. That was the thing, right? We were poor, so my kids didn't have like new phones and shit. They didn't even have phones. But think about the pressure of that, right? Like all your little buddies got that phone or like that thing or whatever the shiny bright moment is.
But this is why there's that issue of people who don't read comics that are like buying these comics because they're not buying the book to read it. They're buying it to be part of the club. And, or to be accepted or to belong to it or whatever, because it's a euphoria. It's the same reason why you're in a church or whatever, and the collection dish starts passing around and people are dropping money in it.
What's that old thing? Well, my neighbor's got it. Why shouldn't I have it? In case in point with that, Chris. Like how many times have we seen these people with these so-called great independent comics where you ask some of these so-called fans, oh well, what did you like, and they could never answer because they never read it.
And that shouldn't be a gotcha, guys. Like that's what depressed me about the mainstream media is that all of my hobbies got co-opted and hijacked by these ideologues, and essentially every one of my hobbies told me they didn't want me as a customer anymore. So I was like, I can't geek out with anybody about the cool shit that I like anymore. Can't talk about Star Wars. Can't talk about Star Trek, Dungeons and Dragons. Hell no, orcs are now black people apparently. But I had indie comics to go to, and it was like I can geek out about this shit. Well, no, you can't because it's the same thing. Like, if you have any negative whatever, then like that post that Dave made, he got like flack for that. Like he got vicious flack, and it was like he wasn't calling anybody out or saying anything about any particular creator. He's just like, I don't like the idea that marketing trumps products, and it's like. I tried to explain to him, like, marketing always trumped products, like the Pet Rock, But, like, the fact that you can't geek out about stuff.
Chris, let me read this one. Godzillionaire, Dungeons and Future Doctors and Lawyers Dragons, right?
Well, here's the thing, though, too. It also determines the longevity of said product. The Pet Rock isn't still selling. You know what I mean?
But like in business, longevity is irrelevant. Like you don't want longevity. You always want the next.
You want the fast big bang.
I don't know. How long has Lego been around?
But Lego is an anomaly.
I'm saying,
and plus Legos are cool. Like they actually have something about them that is cool. I mean,
there are a lot of things that do have longevity.
But business is about myopia. It's about making maximum profits, maximum short-term profits. That's why video games take 3 to 5 years to develop, and their optimal selling window is 6 months.
Yeah, what's this shit now? Where now they announce like 2-3 years in advance that a game is coming out. I remember like. I don't know, in the NES days and the Genesis days, like you heard about a game like 6 months before it was going to come out.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if more businesses though had the old school model like Lego, then we wouldn't have the bullshit we're dealing with today.
Yeah. Well, but
Instead of
that's the
going
thing
for
is
short, quick game.
Business is about maximize because like that's capitalism though in a nutshell. Though it's always about growth. You always want to have something big and then build on top of that and build on top of it and build on top of it. Doesn't matter if it's like a big old heap of shit. Like the point is whatever you recently put out there should be what you're maximizing your profits on. It's not about long-term sustainability. It's about short-term gains. And that's why all these streaming services are failing, because they're all have this business marketing sense of short-term gains. And yet streaming is a long-term sustainability. And none of these things are sustained. People would be like, Disney Plus, what the hell? There's nothing on this piece of crap. Like, why am I paying a monthly fee for this?
Yeah. Well,
they all needed to go with long-term things, and they all went with basically the short-term investments where it'll eventually dry up because it's all crap anyway.
And that's because of publicly traded things, because shareholders want their share values to go up. And you can't you can't have upfront costs and be like, your share values are going to drop by 80% for the next fiscal year, but the fiscal year after that they're going to go up by 1,000% based on the upfront investments. Nobody wants that. Nobody will, even though 1,000% is better than the 50% or 5% or whatever growth that year over year gives them.
Well,
if they just study the
I was going to say it can actually be very clever to buy stocks on their low end if you know they're going to go back up. People have made lots of money doing this, but yes, I know exactly what you mean. It's hard to get any investor to jump on that unless they're already into the stock market.
Yeah, well,
people who are into the stock market, that's how they do that stuff. They'll buy something they know is going to go up.
Oh yeah, like if we had a time machine, you go back and you buy every type of pharmaceutical.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, learn to see that stuff in real time and then try to buy as many stocks as you can afford. And that's what a lot of people do, and that's how they. I don't know. There's lots of people that don't make their fortune until they're really old because of that. It takes them like half their life to figure that out.
It doesn't help when the stock market's rigged. And these people all have insider information either. They
mean our government?
I really don't know what's wrong with all you guys, but you're talking about going back in time buying stocks, man. Screw that. You buy toys, man. You buy toys, toys, and you can make a buttload of money.
That's basically the same kind of concept is what you do with like your collecting. That it's basically the same kind of concept as how stocks are supposed to work, except they go up and down. So you sell when they're at a high, and you're supposed to try to buy them when they're at a low.
Yeah. And it depends what kind of insider trading is going on as well.
I like that idea, Tommy. I would go back and buy like every single fucking USS flag and just keep it in the fucking box. I'd be like, you have to go through me in order to get one of these things.
Slasher's going to corner the market. He's going to change his name to USS flag.
You want a Castle Grayskull? You come to me.
He's the one guy.
He sounds like Mad Max now. You want to make it onto the G.I. Joe playfield with a flag? Come talk to me.
Just walk away from the Skeletor figure.
I will show you your life. There was a lot of companies that brought new executives on, and it was for that short-term window. One of the ones I remember, and it was a huge deal, was when World of Warcraft under Activision brought on whatever that CEO was at the time, and he absolutely obliterated what was left of that game. And he was only there for, I think he got like a 3-year contract or something. It was a pretty short contract, and he didn't give a shit what happened to that thing. He got his money up front. He didn't care.
Hey,
he ran that shit right into the ground.
Look where we are right now. Didn't these guys sell out within a year of making YouTube? I think it was within a year. I don't even think they ran a full year before they sold out to Google.
Yeah. Well, the majority of these people do this type of shit. It's gross. But going back for a second, steering back into the indie comic scene, and again, like I said, reasons why it's been fucking falling to shit. It's because of a lot of the stuff that's going on. You have multimillionaires who came in here who are going, I'm independent. I'm going to save the world. When you do shit like that, that's completely different from what we were all doing. Why was it working in the beginning? Because everybody was trying to work together. People were trying to do the proper thing. Because it was like a studio environment that was kind of online basically, and then it got poisoned because every group got poisoned. They threw in the mix of the women shit and who's sending things to who and what, all the dumb gay op shit that people have done instead of actually focusing on the books and the creative process. There's so much of this shit that had happened because that's the thing. The people who were making more money, they didn't want to share that with anyone. they didn't want it to grow the way that it was growing. They wanted to be the ones who dictated who got popular and who didn't. That's the whole thing with all this shit. Like, it's funny because, like I said, it was working at one point, but it got monkey wrenched because it was never supposed to in the eyes of these other people. And that was the other point it was making too. Because a lot of them came in here going, I want to make that quick cash grab. I want, oh yeah, if I just put out a book, oh, I don't know how to do this stuff. Well, you know what? I'll just trace. I'll just do this. I'll just do that. And it waters it all down. It dirties it all up. That's why.
And that could have been a good moment for everybody, though, Vinny. I mean, if you came somebody comes in to the independent scene and they bring like a quality book, and even if it isn't quality, and let's say we go back to they market it right. So let's just say their book is mediocre, but they marketed it very well. This could have been a moment for them to say, this is what independent comics is all about. Mm-hmm. This is what you should be looking into independent comics for. We're going to be delivering good stories. Instead, it was all about them and placating
it was
their own
all
egos.
about this. It was all about gatekeeping. I think that's why they put gate in the fucking title of their little bullshit. Because that's what it came down to. If you didn't comply, you weren't in the right clicks. It's the same horse shit.
Well,
they poisoned it. Instead of being a proper independent movement, they're still doing it. You see the people who left the mainstream. I still see a couple of the old timers shouting out, "Oh, it's the best thing in the world. This is the only way to be. This is freedom." No, freedom is true independence. What you're doing is you're bowing down to somebody else in order to keep your retirement money coming in for your super late projects.
They saw money. The mainstream industry is drying up and it's dying. Mm-hmm. And they saw money over in these other movements and went, hey, maybe I can get a piece of that.
Yeah,
but
that's literally
what bothers me is that the focus has moved from the product to the creator. Like, dude, like, I don't care about creator. I'm sorry, but like, I mean, I'm friends with you, Vinny, but like, if your book sucked, like, I'm not gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna
sugarcoat it. He's gonna flat out be like, Vinny, your shit sucks.
Exactly. But it doesn't. And he's backed all of it because he knows the quality that's there. And that's the other point I'm making. If you fucking put out proper stuff, you do high quality books, you're going to continue to have awesome stuff. And you can keep growing from that. And you can still build. Because I thought that's what the goal was. Did we all just want to make comics because we want to make a quick, fast dollar? No. If we want to do that, then you pick another fucking job. We wanted to tell these stories. We wanted to build these universes. I know Chris has been, he's had this story in his head and written down for fucking 30 years. I'm similar with the stuff that I have. I still have a huge world that's behind everything else too. I'm building more on it. You're going to get more glimpses of it in City of Venus too. Because I have something bigger here. I have a universe of different characters, different comics, different worlds. And that's why I said most of my shit, I mean, I'm planning to connect everything, or I have things that are connected already. You know, and you're going to start peppering more cool items and stuff in there. Things that you're going to be like, oh, shit, I read that book. I didn't know that's in the same universe or the same world. It's about that bigger thing. Think of something more.
Well, it's about the product. And it bothers me because it's like when I go, like, if I want to get like a horror anthology or something, and I'm like, oh, dude, I'm getting Tales from the Crypt. I'm not getting insert creator of Tales from the Crypt here because I don't know them. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I just want the quality of the book because, dude, we're gonna die. Like when we're gone and we don't have this like ability to do the song and dance or whatever, our products are gonna be the only thing that we leave behind. And if it's mediocre, like we're not around to stoke it anymore. It'll be forgotten and thrown in the New Mexican landfill next to Atari games. You know, like
yeah, exactly.
I don't want
None
that.
of us met Homer, but we've all probably heard the Iliad. So
yeah. I want, like, when I'm dead, I want people to at least remember what I left. You know what I mean? Like that would be my ultimate goal. Like not making a bazillion bucks now. Like not that that would ever happen, but like, you know, I don't care about, like, I don't want to focus on me. I want to focus on my book.
Yeah, I agree. You think any of us really wanted to do the live streaming shit? Like, you know, I was, oh, make your channel, do your thing. I did. I was helping out people. That was the first reason why I did it. Because I'm like, all right, if everyone's kind of doing their part, fine. That's my part. I'm gonna start showcasing people. I was doing art classes at one point because aside from like the 17 master classes that I put out to teach people how to draw, how to do storytelling, anatomy, all that stuff. Aside from that, I was starting to do a couple of live streams. They got a little monkey wrench. So I'm like, all right, maybe people aren't crazy about that type of shit. So I kind of steered away from it. But like the first one I did got over 1,000 views for a live stream thing. Everyone goes, you can't do live stream art videos. No one wants to see them. Blah blah blah. Well, I have one of them that fucking pulled over 1,000 views. So maybe people did want to see it. Stop gaslighting other folks. You know.
No, there's a few people that actually that's pretty much all they do. They do live streams where they're drawing all the time. So no, it does work for certain people. Does it work for everybody? No.
Yeah,
but yeah, it works for certain people.
It also depends what your channel is and stuff too, because that's the other thing. You need to gear things specifically for one thing only, is what it usually looks like. The way that we did it was that people are getting to know us, but then we hit kind of everything, you know. But like I seen the other channels that that are very, very direct, like that guy Proco. He does like the art classes and stuff too. His channel was always and strictly about only the artwork. Even when he did his live streams, he never veered off of anything else. Yeah, he's a talented guy, but like his channel grew massively, millions and millions of followers. Like, God bless him, good for him. But like coming out of nowhere, and it's like, okay, well, first you need to tell people who you are, because that guy had another background as well, and then he got into this, and it was very professional with how he did his approach. A lot of us came in from it of like the Wild West type of thing of, okay, all right, well, people are streaming. I'm just going to put my camera on until I get used to it and figure out how to do this. And, you know, and there wasn't a lot of structure with a lot of people's stuff, you know. That's why I started nailing down things like, fuck it, I'll do 2 streams a week. And then in between, like, we'll have a couple other things. Tommy and I, we got together too, and we do the toy stream all the time on the Thursdays, you know. I do toy reviews. I want to do more art class type stuff again as well, but I haven't had a chance. So that's why I set up another channel where it's, okay, if I do an art video, I'll just throw it onto that channel. You know, if it grows naturally, great. I can't devote too much time to it yet because, again, I'm juggling everything. I'm writing, I'm drawing, I'm inking, I'm lettering, I'm fulfilling. I'm doing everything by myself. It's not fucking easy, you know? And then on top of it, we got to be gaslit. We got to hear these other douchebags trying to push their nonsense on people because they produce subpar shit and they can't take criticism, that they got to try to dictate for everybody else. Fuck you. There are people working 1,000,000 times harder than you, and we're not seeing the same results because we aren't famous, because we haven't had those blessed opportunities yet. You know what I mean? It's
Hunter Biden.
Yeah, exactly. So stop bringing your coke to the White House. You creeps.
I was just referring to the paintings, but yeah.
I would just be super excited if somebody saw my product, didn't even know who the hell I was, didn't care, and just enjoyed the product. Like, that's what I want. Like, if it's successful, that's awesome, makes money, that's even better, you know. But like, dude, like, you know how they say never meet your heroes, or like, you know, never worship celebrities or whatever. Like, I don't want to be a celebrity. I lived in Hollywood, dude. Most of those people I'd like to kick down anyways, I can't say because we're on.
You know, forget everything Chris said. Forget everything. Start worshiping people. Worship a pig. Worship a guinea pig. No, Chris, you don't want to be worshipped. I want to be worshipped.
Well, here, let me just finish my thought. Like, people are fallible. People will eventually slip up and say something fucking stupid, okay? Or they'll, you know, get canceled or whatever. But that shouldn't detract from the product, you know? Like look at Orson Scott Card, okay? That guy got canceled to all hell because he has some very strong religious views that a lot of people don't like. I still love Ender's Game, dude. Like, that whole series, Ender's Shadow, Speaker of the Dead, I think. Like, those are amazing books, you know? I don't really want to meet Orson Scott Card. I don't care. Or like the band Oasis. I love their music, but I don't want to ever meet the Gallagher brothers.
Yeah. I don't know, man. All this shit is just...
But
hey, you know what?
Hold on. The curve, Chris. I mean, hold on, Vinny. Just 1 second. The thing is, you want people that want your books, but you've got people that want your books. Like, I mean, like, yeah, we're on shows together. Like, if you did a convention, of course I'd want to come and help. You know, it's part of what you do for what we do here. But like, I didn't know you for fuck all when I bought your book. Think about that for a minute. And then I read your book. And how many more times did I buy it and send it to other people? And then before the world decided to take a shit, what was the game plan? I had 6 guys, and then you, Giggity, we wanted to talk about your book.
Yeah. Man. Well, like, that's how I would appreciate it for every book, though.
Right. No, I get it, but I mean, at least you're a little ahead of the curve because you do have some of that, man. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to point that out, and I'm sorry, Vinny. It's just I wanted to make sure I said that because I love the book.
No,
and
dude,
I want to make sure I get the whole story, but I don't want you to tell me now, motherfucker. I'll have to come up there and kick your ass.
But see, I agree too, and like I said, I backed his book without knowing him, you know. And then when I read it, I'm like, oh shit, this is fantastic, you know. But and again, and that's what the convention scene was pretty much what was going on too. Because that's where you'll have people who don't know who you are. They'll come up to the table, take a look at some of your stuff, and if it resonates with them, they'll buy it. You know, they'll read it, and usually they'll contact you or follow you on social media or at the show itself. I've had that happen multiple times. People didn't really know, but they love the quality of the work. They came back, they bought the books, they read it. If it wasn't the same show, or the next day, they come to the following show that I've been to, like, oh my god, that was amazing. What else you got? You know. And it's the snowball effect of the good stuff, and that's what I mean. Put quality out.
Like I say a lot of stupid shit on social media. Like I say a lot of stupid shit on here too. But like I don't want people to be like, well, F that you know, screw that freaking story or whatever, because that guy is insert label, you know, whatever, or he disagrees with me on something, or he said something that I just, you know, disliked or whatever.
Yeah,
I would rather
on social media, brother. I mean, it doesn't matter because they're not gonna buy your damn book anyway if they're doing that shit.
No, but that's the thing is like, dude, how many people? We were just talking about the Call of Cthulhu and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I joked about the fact that, you know, freaking H.P. Lovecraft named his cat a racial slur.
Hey,
like,
listen, hold on one sec before you continue. We're gonna close out YouTube and Facebook. There hasn't been anyone on Facebook anyway tonight, and YouTube, I'm getting tired of it. I want to be able to say other things. So everyone who's in chat here, I thank you. I can still see the chat, and I can still read off names and stuff too. So I'll still say, you know, whatever we got to say before we go out. But yeah, we'll be on Rumble exclusively now. Let me go click that link just in case. Give you the people who aren't there yet. Here is. Oh, God damn it.
No, speaking of Cthulhu. Thanks to Trina for sending something. With that as being, it's already been rerouted to my daughter for her birthday. So Trina, you're gonna more than likely put a big smile on my daughter's face with that. Thank you again.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. So folks, here's the link. Get over to Rumble side. Yeah, I'm just gonna close out the YouTube and the Facebook shit. Facebook first.
Yeah, get the hell out of my house, Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, get out of here. The Zuckerberg weirdo. See that one. And goodbye, YouTube.